All right, big announcement time. Cards on the table. In the next week or so, I am going to be deciding whether or not I am becoming a full-time content creator. So if you are in the position to show me some financial support, like this is the moment. This is decision time for me where I'm going to sit down with my boss and say, this is my situation. This is what's happening. So if you are in the position to support me via Patreon, via YouTube memberships, by doing a donation deck list, or in some other way, like setting me up with a sponsor or something like that, like this is the critical moment, and this is very exciting and also very scary for me. All right, I'm going to be showing this ad all week, and then we'll kind of resume to normal, just do-do-do-do-do, and then cutting straight to the deck tech. I'm an absolute maniac for playing this deck, but it should be a good show. Hello folks, Phil Gallagher aka ThrabenU here for another Legacy video. Today's video is sponsored by Moxfield.com as well as Cardsphere.com. We'll take a look at them later. And our deck list comes to us from Switzerland. Now, a couple weeks ago, I played against this Mogg Maniac deck, and the creator of that deck list actually was kind enough to email me. So Samuel and Myas from Switzerland sent me a slightly different version of this deck list, which I've kind of upped the power level on. It's a crazy brew. So what we want to do here is have one of either Mogg Maniac or Spiteful Sliver in play. Both of these work the same way. When this is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to target opponent or planeswalker. And wouldn't you know it, there's some spells in Legacy that hit really, 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 really absurdly hard on a creature. For the commander players, you might have seen like Blasphemous Act in action, dealing 13 to something when it's attached to some sort of, like Stuffy Doll, Boros Reckoner, or whatever effect, and you get to send that damage elsewhere, ends up being really cool. And in addition to that, we are going to have 8 earthquake effects in these 75. Effects that deal X damage to each creature, and there might be a little bit of text on there about horsemanship. Don't so much worry about that. So, basically what I changed from the original version is I wanted to make sure we had some realistic ways to cheat some games versus the more unfair decks of the format. So I wanted to have a set of both Blood Moon and Chalice of the Void in the deck list here. I also wanted to make sure that for matchups where the cute plan isn't going to work, that we have a little bit of oomph. So that oomph is going to come to us in Caves of Chaos Adventurer, because the initiative is real good, folks, and sometimes you just need something that can singularly spiral the game on its own when you don't have enough time to set up the thing that you're doing that is cute. And I also wanted to make sure that in matchups where I need to bring in a whole bunch of sideboard cards, I wanted to make sure I still have a realistic win condition. Now, the original version had Chandra in it as an additional mana source, and I've switched that to Fable of the Mirror Breaker. This is also something that can make us mana with the treasure token, but I think the middle ability, the ability to essentially cast Faithless Looting, is really strong here, because we are looking to get one of these 2 cards with one of these 2 cards, or sometimes we can play actual factual Earthquake in the post-sideboard games as well. And we're a deck that doesn't have access to tutors or a lot of card selection, so I thought Fable of the Mirror Breaker was just kind of the perfect thing. And if I can live the dream for a moment, we can also use Fable of the Mirror Breaker to go and copy one of Spiteful Sliver or Mogg Maniac, and then do really cute things with a rolling Earthquake afterwards. And I would really love to see that happen. As far as the sideboard here, things are relatively targeted. Essentially, we have more sweepers so that we can control versus fair decks. We have a pile of meltdowns so we can have a chance versus the artifact decks. And then we have Leyline of the Void for our graveyard-based decks. Rounding that out, we'll play a couple of answers to a Merit Lodge or just generic removal spells in case we need to board something like Chalice out. And then we're going to play a couple more hate cards for combo. We're going to play this in a real league. We're going to see how this goes, and I am very much looking forward to my opponent saying ridiculous things in chat as we try to assemble this. All right. Anyway, folks, I hope you enjoy. If you do, click the like button. If you don't, maybe click the like button anyway, because it really supports my content, and it means so much. All right, let's battle. All right, we're on a fair plan for right now. Hopefully a Blood Moon slows down my opponent enough that I can do something unfair. And I have to decide whether or not I want to keep the second Blood Moon here, or whether or not I want to keep the Fury. I think I'm going to keep the second Blood Moon. If my opponent is packing counterspells over here, I want to be able to slam another one of these next turn. If this doesn't work, like, so be it. But I think a Blood Moon is more valuable here in the instances where my opponent has the Force of Will than anything else. And wouldn't you know it, we're going again. Hell yeah. Blood Moon, historically a very fun Magic card. Oh. Oh. What was this? This was a brainstorm pitch there. That's a nice island, by the way. Okay, we're flooding out a bit. That's fine. I wonder if we're playing against like a blue-green show and tell deck list. I haven't... Oh, see, this is fantastic. Now I can loot away these cards. Go ahead and cast a Fable. Very nice. Now fine. Okay, so that's a no. We're not playing against show and tell after seeing Wasteland. Yes, I will use this ability. Let's pitch these two here. Hey, hey, hey. I'm going to go ahead and collect my treasure token here. When it goes to 17. Does this double randomly if I make it real big? It does. So that would be 8 mana. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's play this as a land. Drop a Mogg Maniac. I can fire a Death Laser next turn. Oh, that's so cool. So I might want to wait to fire my Death Laser until I can do it around days. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Let's go ahead and crash in for 3 points of damage, putting my opponent to 14. I feel confident that Shivan Meteor is a cool legacy card. Yes. No. Ah. So now my Mogg Maniac was still dealt some damage, so that gets reflected at my opponent. And we'll save this for if we can do it again. Brazen Borrower? How do they always fucking have Brazen Borrower? Explain it to me. How? In a no cantrip game, my opponent just naturally drew the Brazen Borrower. That's an out to my Blood Moon. I'm outraged. Outraged, I say. Now my opponent still is at 9. Library not incredibly strong here. Oh. So that's just gonna happen. And Murktide Region? Are you fucking kidding me right now? Oh, sorry. It's only Ethereal Forager instead. How utterly disappointing. So how big can I make this Shatter Skull Smashing exactly? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I could kill a Dreadnought with it. I guess I'm going to. So I need to attack, right? Because I need 11 total mana. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I want 6 and 2. That's 8, 9, 10. 6, 2, 8, 9, 10. 2, 3, 4, 5. 6. Oh, no, I can do it now. Why am I getting no legal targets on this? Or do I need to type this in like this? I am very confused about why this is not working the way that I think it is. Alright, there's 2 damage on that. I am not able to cast this spell. Yeah, I am just completely unable to cast this spell. Well, that sucks. Alright, I'm just gonna concede this game. That's a really disappointing start to this league, because I was supposed to be able to cast this with 2 different targets, cast it for 6 or more, and deal double that damage. Alright, frustrating. Just completely skipping all of the stages that let me actually pay my costs. Generally speaking, the main deck configuration is probably pretty close to where I want to be. I can play some Meltdowns if I actually want to have answers to Dreadnoughts, but I think my answer to Dreadnought is Chalice and Blood Moon. I don't know. I might need some of this to actually realistically bounce it out of the way. I think I'm going to play these two and trim 2 Furies. This is a fine hand. I will absolutely keep this. Let's just go ahead and play that and pass. Sure. I think I'm just going to wait a turn here. I don't really want to play into Daze right now. Just another Volk from my opponent. I'm going to wait yet another turn because I didn't draw a bad card to pitch to Chrome Mox here. Alright, my opponent drew their basic island. There's a Chalice. Am I just going to play this game with infinite patience here? Seems like yes. That's good enough for a Force of Will. No other actions from my opponent. Now I'm at the point where I'm playing around soft permission. I'm going to go ahead and make my opponent expend resources on the cards that I value less, and then start trying to ride this stuff to victory. Good stuff, although I kind of expect yeah. For the record, I don't think that's supposed to happen in my main phase. Sure. Alright, there's the fetch to clear the Brainstorm. Presumably something scary happens. I would think that qualifies. Wasteland not doing a lot right now. Okay, yes, I will use this ability. I don't want this. I don't think I want this either, being as, like, it appears to be bugged. Let's go ahead and jam a Caves of Chaos Adventurer. Then if this resolves, I'll play the basic Mountain. It did not. Am I fine playing this into that? Yes. I think I don't mind losing that. If it takes my opponent off a mana. Alright, so probably my opponent making some Dreadnoughts. Yep. Sure. Sequencing was maybe not ideal there. That was played in a way that kept Murktide Regent from getting counters. I don't think it matters. I think my opponent is just going to kill me by hitting me with Dreadnought twice, and this tramples. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 total mana, which is 5 plus 4. I can play both of these and then hope to just kill my opponent next turn. And I gotta do what I can do here. Pick up a land drop, take 2 to play a Fury, kill Murktide Regent, and then hope to just kill my opponent next turn because they don't have another piece of interaction. I can use Reflection of Kiki Jiki to copy Fury, going in for 6, 12, 17, and then just kill my opponent with Rolling Earthquake. Maybe kill both of us with Rolling Earthquake. Alright, yep, fine. Another creature is not fine. Sure. Okay, I can still do a lot of damage. Oh fuck, I shouldn't have played that there. So, with Forge, a 5, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 damage. I need to do 7 with Rolling Earthquake to get a kill, which also kills me. So I needed to play this post-combat, second main phase, so that I could get a draw with Rolling Earthquake and take it to another game. But I messed that up. Sorry, I'm still just a little rattled after realizing that this card doesn't work properly. Today's video is sponsored by Cardsphere.com. Cardsphere is a service that allows you to buy, sell, and most importantly, trade your Magic cards with other people and game stores from around the world. As you can see here, they are doing a lot of business. They only take a very small fee, 3%, and if you decide you want cash instead of cards, you can also get paid out via PayPal for a small cut. P.S. They also have articles, so please consider checking them out. Alright, my round 2 opening hand just does not have enough mana here. This is a reasonable start that needs another red mana to suspend these things. I guess that's what this does. Keep, I put back 1 Meteor. I'm still gonna need another mana source. But sort of a neat thing here is I believe that if I control 2 Spiteful Slivers, they're actually going to stack so that I will have 2 instances of this, meaning that a single Shivan Meteor is lethal. But I need more mana. But we'll start this game and see where it goes. Wasteland is brutal here. Alright, has elicited a response. Icefang Coatl is fine. Not going to be worth using a Fury on or anything like that. What you got? Island? Sure. That sets me back pretty significantly. Sure. I don't think I'm interested in doing a Fury yet. I think I'm just going to go ahead and replay this. There's the Teferi Plus. Alright, that land drop means the Icefang Coatl now has Death Touch. This is probably an okay opportunity to cast a Fury. Pitch the Rolling Earthquake here. That was good enough for a Force of Will. So accordingly, I'm just going to drop another Spiteful Sliver. And I think I'm just going to pass my turn here. I like having multiple Spiteful Slivers. An Endurance? No, it's a sorcery. It's a sorcery at instant speed because of Teferi Plus. Sure. My mana is a little awkward right now in a way that I'm not a huge fan of. I love this, though. This gets me to my next mana source that I need. Let's go ahead and do this. Make this goblin. The next turn I can send this on a little suicide mission. It can trade with an Icefang Coatl. Now what? Oh, fuck me! Oh no. This is gonna be a fucking Atraxa. Oh god. Oh, so now my opponent's gonna have access to a Force of Will. Does it get Planeswalkers too? Each type. Delicious. Fuck. Well, I felt real smart until just now. Atraxa is currently bugged, so I don't know for sure which ones they took, but okay. So if they took swords, they do not have Force of Will, and they do not have Daze. Alright. This is, real good. Real good. I'm gonna presume they don't have that one. Okay. Yeah. No, this is fine. Fuck me. Alright, no. I'm out. Okay. I was not prepared for instant speed natural order into Atraxa. I did not have that on my fucking bingo card for today. Guess I have 2 outs to bounce in Atraxa. I think I need to stay on the Blood Moon despite the fact that my opponent does have a bunch of basics. I think it's a good way to steal a game. Oh, I don't like how my cards line up here. Maybe that, actually. I don't know, this clears small stuff. This also clears small stuff in Planeswalkers. I'd go down on Chalice. My opponent's mana costs are actually incredibly varied. Ugh. Alright, I don't have a red mana to start things off here. This one's a mulligan. One's a keep. It's going to be a little awkward, but hopefully this works out okay. Opponent's deck is cool as fuck. Oddly, until my opponent destroyed that wasteland, there were timelines where I could Shivan Meteor with 2 or 3 Spiteful Slivers in play to get a kill, but once that wasteland happened, I was donezo for sure. So I guess I'm not in love with seeing early basics from my opponent, but there's a very good chance I just get to resolve a Blood Moon anyway. And it significantly slows my opponent down to the point where I can do some of this other stuff. Like, they need more than 1 basic land to operate. They need multiple colors of mana to operate. Part where it's a problem is where my opponent just, like, forces this turn, gets, like, an island here, and then gets another color of mana next turn off a different fetch land. That's the timeline that I'm afraid of. Okay, it's in play. That's a great start for me. I think I need to just drop another... I just drop another Blood Moon. I think I just drop another Blood Moon. Like, it's not necessarily glorious here, but it keeps something like a Teferi from just bouncing one of these out of play and then giving my opponent access to more mana. The Daze. So it seems indeed like my opponent's plan might be bounce Blood Moon out of play. Or Cast a Prismatic Ending on it. Yep, okay. Well, know what they say. If at first you don't succeed, cast Blood Moons until you do. Eh? Being a slight punish of 2 life on my end, by the way, because I decided to hold Shatterskull Smashing for an extra turn. Could have played it last turn while under Blood Moon, but I wanted to hold it in case I wanted to turn it into a spell based on future draws. Alright. Brutal. Absolutely brutal. I think I play Fable, but don't drop another land here. Hit my Shaman, call it a turn. Brainstorm's no big deal. 2 naturally drawn basics is rough, because my opponent now has access to all of their colors. There's a Green Sun, presumably for a mana dork. Yep. Yeah, I can be eating Natural Order next turn. I think I'm looting both of those. Okay, that's very nice. I think I need to kill this so I can't get Natural Ordered. So I will go ahead and attack and make my treasure first so that I'm playing Fury around Days, which seems like a huge deal here. Opponent's at 17. I'll nuke Noble Hierarch. Okay, Swords is acceptable. Alright. Good news is I can probably hold the initiative. The bad news is my opponent might have Traxa coming, and there's just not a lot that I can do about that. Like, I'll attempt to cast this and do cool things with it. Grab that mountain, play that mountain. Like, next turn, I can copy Caves of Chaos Adventurer and go ham, but this is just happening, right? Yeah, it is. There's just like random Jittes in there too for artifacts to hit. And there's the swords. So my opponent will end up with a land of some kind. They're going to take swords. So that means they don't have these. So these are their remaining cards, and they're going to have to discard. Alright. Yeah, I don't think I beat Atraxa here. It's just Vigilant as well. I need to scry and try to bounce that out of play, I guess. Forge certainly isn't beating it. Is Rolling Earthquake good enough? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 total mana? Yeah, Rolling Earthquake's good enough. Shatterskull Smashing in theory should work too, right? 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That also should work. This one doesn't kill my creatures. Alright. Go ahead and top that. Cast a Shatterskull Smashing. Yeah, this card is fully bugged. I picked 12 with this. Or X is 6. Is that how I have to do this? Alright, that's how I have to do that on the client. Alright. Alright, opponent takes 4. This is awful templating. For the Magic. Like, this is not intuitive. It's very strange that we've had multiple instances of casting this for 6 or more, though. Alright, my opponent has sat there for like 5 minutes doing nothing. Then they bounced my Fable of the Mirrorbreaker, played it to Fairy, and played a Green Sun. Sure. Alright, I still have the initiative. I go down the right side here. I don't really need this extra treasure. Nice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, I probably just cast this for a very large number here. Got days to think about. Let's go ahead and see if my opponent wants to take this body off the board. They might want to keep it for their Jitte. Or their Natural Order, for that matter. Alright, cool. I think I want to save 4 mana for Fable of the Mirrorbreaker purposes to play that around a days. Casting that for 6 is pretty good here. Go ahead and just attempt that. And then I'll play a new Fable of the Mirrorbreaker. So this lets me kind of like power up with Catacombs in just a minute. And my opponent's on the path to timing themselves out. Alright, there's a Noble Hierarch. A Jace the Mind Sculptor. Sure. Bounces my creature token. They play Jitte. I get a 4/1 creature. Fury's fantastic. I will not be getting rid of that. I'll go ahead and cast this. Kill both of those. And I have lethal damage in play. not counting Throne of the Dead 3. Your cantrips are fine. There's another mountain. Need to be conceding right now if you cannot win this game. Alright, here's a green sun. I don't think Uro does enough. Puts him to 8, that's still lethal. Sure, you can brainstorm in response. Yeah. I think my opponent just wasted another minute of their time there. I think I'm more or less going to just resubmit as is. Has 3 initial mana sources, a couple of Blood Moon effects. Has the whole Mogg Maniac thing. Isn't quite as fast as I'd like it to be. I think I'm just going to keep this though, rather than mulliganing here. You don't have the time. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and play one of these tapped this turn. Call it a turn. Drop from my opponent. Alright, fantastic. Go ahead and Chrome Mox here. Unfortunately, I think I have to imprint the cute card. Go ahead and play this, paying the life, and I will just be attempting to slam Blood Moons. Force of Will is fine. There is a basic. Automatic ending is fine. A life again. I'm going to go ahead and attempt another Blood Moon. It has worked this time, which takes my opponent off of a lot of their resources. Alright, fantastic. I'm going to go ahead and play the thing that is going to let me get further ahead in terms of mana. And while this game isn't 100% over, it's pretty close. Yes, I'll use this ability. I'm going to get rid of this, and probably this here. Make a land drop, go to combat, crash in for 2, put my opponent to 17, and kind of twist the knife here, playing an initiative creature. That will just kind of end things as quickly as possible. Alright. That was a game. Alright, round 3. I have 2 mana sources in this opening hand. I really need a third. Okay. Not a fan of this. I think I am just supposed to play a tapped land and pass the turn here. Plays worse against Wasteland, but I don't think I want to necessarily imprint cards yet. Okay, sure. That tends to be a combo land. Alright, I lost my threat. Let's keep playing land drops. Now that I've been Thoughtseized, these Chrome Mox are a lot worse than they were a second ago. I'm maybe supposed to imprint the Rolling Earthquake right now, but if my opponent is Doomsday, I get more mileage out of saving this card for later. Sure. As an aside, I went into the tournament practice room to mess with Shatterskull Smashing, and it turns out the card works if you distribute the damage for the doubled amount and ignore the no legal targets portion of it, which is just wrong. The targets are legal. Okay, so my opponent's got their Doomsday on top. They're not quite to enough mana to cast it yet. I need a threat. There's no shuffle. Oh, they've got green. Sure. What's the green for? Veil of Summer? Uro? Question mark. Okay, do I want to cast one of these? No, I think I just let them have their life total. And cast one or both of these. Hopefully messing up Street Wraith piles. Okay, alright, there is Veil of Summer. My opponent has used, so this is going to be what? Cycle Edge of Autumn, do that whole thing. Yep. Sitter, and Thassa's Oracle. Okay, then extra Edge of Autumn in there. That is what it is. So if it went to my turn, I can't see what I would have drawn. I would have been able to Rolling Earthquake for a little bit. Alright. Things that do damage to my opponent directly can come in. Like, these Earthquake effects are actually going to be surprisingly good. I don't super need Fury or Shivan Meteor, I don't think, because I can eventually just cast one of these Earthquake things on a Mogg Maniac. Although it looks like I'll probably keep 2 of them to round things out. I think that's better than Fury? I think. Yeah, this hand's quite good. Like, very legitimately strong. Alright. Tomb into Chalice on 1. I think that's better than Chalice on 0 here. It has resolved. That's scary. Do some damage to myself here. Yes. Attempt a Blood Moon, which is a major pain in the butt for my opponent right now. I assume this just cannot resolve. Alright, my opponent has floated a mana. Do they have an answer to it, like an Abrupt Decay? They do. My life total is surprisingly low here. That's really good. I think I play this around days. I think that's important enough to do here. I'm going to go ahead and cast this on 2. That will stop Athos's Oracle, although my opponent can potentially have other things that get around that. And then we'll hopefully just clock my opponent very quickly with Caves of Chaos Adventurer. Ooh. Draw Blood Moon. No. There's 6 total mana this turn, so I can play both of my cards. Life total be damned. Start by taking the initiative. Okay, that's just good enough to get the win there. I know my opponent has Abrupt Decay, but I don't think that really changes anything about my sideboarding here. This hand is quite good. Blood Moon doing serious heavy lifting this league. Alright, well, there goes my Blood Moon. We'll play turn 1 Eidolon. My opponent knows to play out Artifact mana now. Ooh, and even go deeper than that now to just avoid the future damage. Daze is a thing that I potentially have to worry about. But I think I just accept that. I imprint the Fable that I just drew. And attempt this. Nice, it's in play. This is going to be a very swift clock. Ooh, that's nice. Ooh, looks like we are just going to lose this to an Abrupt Decay immediately. Yep, I mean, we still get 2 damage out of it. Now, do I play the Caves of Chaos Adventurer that just clocks my opponent, or do I play Chalice? I think I play Caves of Chaos Adventurer. It just makes past the turn Doomsday Lions nigh impossible. Nice. We do resolve. Grab that basic land. I've already made my land drop. I could play Chalice on 0 here, but I'd rather put it on a different number, I think. Okay, that's good enough to win the match. GG's. Today's video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, and I host all of my deck lists here. And one of the things that I want to show you is there's more than one way to view your decks on Moxfield. So normally deck lists are sorted by like what type the card is, but you can use tags on Moxfield. So if you're trying to group parts of your deck into conceptual categories so that you can really figure out how many of each effect you have and balance your deck list, this is one of the best places to do that. All right, round 4, we're currently 3-1. I guess I keep this hand. I don't know, I have 3 pieces of the same side of the deck, though. Maybe that means I just ship this. This is a much stronger hand. I keep this probably pitching the Mogg Maniac? I think so. Go ahead and lead on Mountain and pass. We'll intend on turn 2 Blood Moon, and play turn 3 Sliver. Basic Forest. That mean that my Rolling Earthquake is going to be good? Because this is like some Elves-esque matchup? No. That's an Uro pitch to the Force of Will, so we're probably playing against like a Bant control deck, or a 4-color control deck. Got another counterspell? Let's find out. This works great. Most of the time. It can be awkward if my opponent just flashes in end of turn, Ice Fang Coatl, takes the initiative, and then Swords to Plowshares this creature. Why do I talk? Yep. I think my deck's weak enough that I have to play towards the higher upside lines. Like, I can play around that by playing Spiteful Sliver on my turn, and then, like, playing this the next turn, but that's, like, just so much worse for me in every situation where they don't have Ice Fang Coatl and Swords to Plowshares. Oh, okay, they didn't have the swords. Alright, there's a Chalice. Alright, I am getting my damage in. I will still go ahead and forge up my creature. Rolling Earthquake's actually going to look pretty good. Go ahead and cast a Chalice for 1. Very fast Brainstorm. My opponent had that. I'm a little surprised that didn't happen on their turn. Finding Swords of Plowshares is such a high upside play, and like keeps me from drawing an extra card here. Who are you gonna... Oh, it's another Brainstorm. I thought they were gonna Ice Fang again. Alright, Chalice is in play. I think I want to kill this Ice Fang Coatl. I think I do that with a Rolling Earthquake for X equals 1. A little weird. I just need to clear out this creature, though. Alright, do I want Spiteful Sliver in play? I can do it if I Chrome Mox Rolling Earthquake and then put this extra body into play. The Rolling Earthquake is probably just worth more to me as a burn spell. I can just cast that for X's 5 next turn, which is insane. Especially considering Trap. So this opens up white bounce spells like Teferi. Green Sun is presumably fine. Burrow gains my opponent some life. I think that's gonna actually matter here. Grab my opponent. And a 9. Attempt 7 of that damage immediately. Opponent goes to 2. Guess I can just attempt this for X equals 2 as a way to kill my opponent. Oh, sweet, it just worked. Go Gadget Rolling Earthquakes. Do I want more Earthquakes? Maybe. I don't mind my deck here. Like, Mogg Maniacs and Spiteful Slivers are pretty good blockers versus an Uro. I still get damage versus something flashed in like an Endurance or an Ice Fang Coatl. I'm not sure if Chalice is actually better than just playing more threats. Like, I am 100% currently just thinking about doing this and just burning my opponent to death. But I still might need Chalice. My opponent's just going to have varied CMCs that make this less effective than normal. This also just, like, kills Uro and friends. Yeah, I think I'm just going to go with higher threat density here. This is a bit of a medium hand. I'm going to go ahead and keep it. With the plan being, like, Mogg Maniac into Spiteful Sliver into a decently sized Earthquake that just burns my opponent for a lot. Sure. I think I just kind of let that occur. Play this as a tapped land this turn. I'm not interested in just furying that, I don't think. That's a hell of a, like, call to make, and if my opponent just has more lands, it's not actually all that effective. And I'm also just kind of hoping to clean up some of that stuff in, like, an Earthquake. Although Earthquake doesn't kill that. Rolling Earthquake would, though. I'm going to go ahead and just drop a Mogg Maniac. My opponent swords it. They swords it. Oh, that was good enough to get a Brainstorm in response. Well, maybe, like, air quotes good enough, honestly. I'd like to draw a non-City of Traders land for my next turn. Or Brainstorm. There's a fetch land. I could be facing down something like an Uro immediately. There's a Teferi instead. Sure. I'll take 2 damage because of Exalted. Okay. At this point, I probably Fury. Like, this is a very attractive Fury. The question is just, like, do I play that before or after Caves of Chaos Adventurer? I think Caves of Chaos Adventurer is the bait spell in this instance. I think oh, alright, we're resolving. Pick up a land. Cast a Fury. Get rid of a Mogg Maniac, I think. Maybe get rid of Shivan Meteor. I can just play both of these next turn. Maybe get rid of Shivan Meteor. Alright. 1, 1, 1. Noble Hierarch, you can have the extra damage. Alright, I've cleared the board. I have the initiative. I have multiple nonsense cards in hand. We're doing the thing here. What is that? Oh, that's a Tri-land. Sure. New Noble Hierarch. I will forge up my creature. Good draws are good. Back. Ooh, there's a Sliver. I will probably just play this turn, honestly. I'll just take that added value. Ooh, Force Pitching Force. Do I just cast an Earthquake for X equals 1 to never lose the initiative? Oh, that's so disappointing, because the things, I can do them. But it's probably just correct. Oh, that's so sad. Alright. That's okay. Like, womp womp, I have lethal on board, right? But I was so close to casting both of these and then an earthquake and doing triple the amount of damage to my opponent. I could taste it. We're 3-1 with this deck, by the way, somehow. Alright, I will be keeping my hand here. I believe I Chrome Mox the Shatter Skull Smashing. I would like to keep good old Mogg Maniac around and attempt to do the thing. Alright, we've got a Chalice in play. We will get to follow that up with a Blood Moon. And then hopefully we can kill our opponent with a potato. A very heavily... Oh. Alright. Did the good old MTG Goldfish search on my opponent, but their last finish is from 2019, so I have legitimately no idea what they are playing. They folded to Chalice. Could mean combo. Could mean Delver, and I just locked them out of all their initial spells. I think I'm going to hedge a little bit by doing this. And if I'm a little bit wrong, I'm a little bit wrong. Well, my opponent conceded to Chalice last time, and I've got 2 of them. Seems like a keep. Alright. Elves wouldn't concede to Chalice on 1. They have Allosaurus Shepherd that they can just draw. Okay. I'm wrong. Absolutely. We're not quite boarded optimally here. But hopefully a Fury ends up doing some heavy lifting. Yeah, I don't think you concede with Elves to a Chalice on 1 anymore. Okay, there's a bounce. Seeing an Elvish Visionary? We are. So I might want to just, like, since I have 2 Furies specifically, I might just want to use one of those right now and just take out these 2 for Gaia's Cradle-based reasons. I don't think I want this card here. I think the self-damage to me is likely to be relevant. The good news is, for like when we board for our next game, I can just go up 4 more rolling Earthquake effects. I take 2 to put a Mogg Maniac in play. Yes. I will do that. That's just to preemptively make the rolling Earthquake effects better. And my remaining Shivan Meteors. Okay. That'll get caught up in the next Fury that I play, which will be next turn. I'm thinking about whether or not I want to cast a Chalice of the Void for X equals 2. It costs me a lot of life to do that. It's 3 for this coming in untapped, plus 2 more here. It shuts off Elvish Visionary and Green Sun for X equals 1. They're relevant things. My life total is a resource. I will go ahead and do that. I will hold Mogg Maniac back, though. I don't want to take 1 point of damage from Dryad Arbor. That is currently unacceptable. Okay, no attack from Dryad Arbor. Next turn. This is just Sinkhole. Absolutely blast a Dryad Arbor. Okay, Boseiju on a Chalice. Yes. We'll pick up a Mountain. We'll Dryad Arbor. 1 short of Blood Moon. Crash in for 1. Opponent's at 19. I have them on a 3-turn clock in terms of damage, and I can insulate myself from Cradle as well as secondary colors. What? Okay, I was going to say. Anyway, if you were wondering whether or not I'm a hero or whether I'm a villain, maybe plays like this one will tell you. Cast Shivan Meteor, targeting Mogg Maniac, while my opponent is at 13 life, dealing 13 damage. And that's how we end our league and get a 4-1. I don't believe we got the 4-1, but we sure as hell did. So, overall thoughts on the deck list. Honestly, way better than I expected it to be. Like, I expected this to be like the 1-4-2-3 sort of deck list, but we saw Blood Moon and Chalice of the Void on their big old beefy shoulders carry this league. Um, the when they sent me the email, saying that I should play this on the channel, they suggested like throwing in Caves of Chaos Adventure was probably a good idea, and they were totally right. That was not in the initial draft, but that gave me a way to spiral the game out of control for the games that I could not go and assemble my combo. Now, generally speaking, I didn't assemble like the whole Mogg Maniac Shivan Meteor all that many times throughout the league. I did that twice, but I was working towards doing really cool things in a couple of the games that I won, right? So in round, I think it was round 4, if I had one more turn cycle, I would have played out Mogg Maniac and Spiteful Sliver and then cast a Rolling Earthquake to triple the amount of damage that Rolling Earthquake would have done, and that would have been dope as hell. And so, like, while like we very much know the questionable part of the deck, the questionable part of the deck still did some work. And oddly, like the fear was real from my opponents from these cards. Like these cards did eat removal spells throughout the league and like very much threatened my opponents because like they didn't know why exactly they were in the deck, but they knew something was off and they had to respect them. And what that meant is if they're using initial resources on these cards, it actually like clears the way for some of this other stuff to just take over the game. I loved the cards that I had access to in the sideboard. Um, I'm very happy with this deck list, and I'm not just saying that because I won. I did tilt off a little bit in the early rounds because like the whole Shatter Skull smashing thing didn't necessarily like work well on the Magic Online client, and like has some very deceptive wording. But that kind of is what it is. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please click the like button on your way out. It helps out a lot. If you have any thoughts about the deck building, feel free to go ahead and throw them in the comments. If you want to complain about the initiative being too good for Legacy, like, whatever. I hear you. Blood Moon, though. Blood Moon. All right. Have a great rest of the day, folks. See ya.